Hey, welcome on in, everybody. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you guys could go subscribe, easy to do. Hit that button. Also, Tobin and Leroy now streaming live on YouTube every single weekday from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. So go subscribe to that channel and catch us when we go live. Silly Sauce every single weekday, having fun. Miami Heat having fun last night, finishing off their road trip with a nice 104-96 win in the words of Eric. So it was like a blowout. It really was. I mean, it seemed like it was, teetering there in the fourth quarter, but they were able to handle business against a wounded team in Phoenix. Certainly losing Chris Paul in the middle of the game. They already don't have Devin Booker, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne out of this game. So really, really banged up. Although on the other side of it, the Heat had two starters out with Caleb Martin and Tyler Hero both sitting on this one. And all that being said, Miami was able to come through and finish off their road trip 3-2. That's a good road trip. I was saying this, that yes, obviously disappointing losing to the Lakers. I thought the most embarrassing loss of the season, but ultimately you go out on the West Coast, 5-game trip, you finish 3-2, you'll take that every time. You left meat on the bone. You went out there and, Dallas, Denver, you probably looked at it, you say, probably could have had that one. Defense collapsed late. Same thing against LA. Could have had that one, and it all just fell apart on you. So you left meat on the bone on the road trip, but all in all, like 3-2 on a road trip, you will take that every single time. And obviously, there was a lot of good stuff that happened on this road trip that I think bodes well for them going for the rest of the season. And some of the top things that happened on this road trip, you think about one of the big things that maybe goes unnoticed under the bigger stuff was Max Strus. Max Strus really, I thought, put some separation in that game yesterday. He had a really, really good road trip from downtown. He shot over 42%. And, Max, a lot of, kind of that first real lull of the season, first real scrutiny that he's facing, a little pressure because, he's got the contract coming up. Duncan Robinson goes out with the injury. He's going to be out for a month. You really are going to lean on Max for that spacing, that three-point shooting. And he was really, really good on this trip providing that. He was going back to that guy who was letting it fly, hitting a bunch from downtown, and that meant a lot to Miami. On top of that, you had Bam Adebayo just go in complete takeover mode for this team, really carrying them offensively, doing something that hasn't been done since LeBron James, 3 straight games, scoring over 30 points. This on top of the fact that he was completely disrespected in the All-Star voting where he didn't even crack the top 10 of front court players, which is a joke. That's another video for another day. We're going to have plenty of that to get behind Adebayo to send him to Utah, which I think he will. It's just disappointing to see that not enough fans are appreciating it. I didn't have these illusions that Bam was going to get the majority of the fan votes, but to see that he's basically getting no recognition was a big time disappointment, and he's looked awesome. We've seen a lot of growth from him as far as just the mentality, the takeover. He was a beast on the boards this road trip too. Really getting after it. He was, getting offensive rebounds, second chance points, any type of cleanup that could happen he was there. I mean, he really just, it just felt like, we always know with him defensively that motor never stopped. It felt like he was really imprinting that on the offensive side of the game. That type of tenacity that we see from him on the defensive side, where he'll lock up anybody, he'll recover, he'll go from out on the perimeter to go and block in the paint. That is what we saw from him offensively. Like he was, if the first shot wasn't there, the second shot was going to be there. If the first attempt's in there, you'll reset, go after, try and get fouls, get free throws. All that stuff was really, really great to see. And that was a huge, huge factor with them having the winning road trip. He was really, really good. Like Eric Spoelstra, we learned a new Spoism on the road trip, which was burn some calories. Bam burning calories all the time. He's basically like a Peloton out there. So absolutely all-star worthy. The Bam Payne is on, dude. All right. Enough of this nonsense where he is getting overlooked and disrespected. This has already happened with the Defensive Player of the Year awards. I'm tired of it. So great job by Bam on this road trip. Arguably the biggest thing from this road trip, though, it was two things. One, the New Year's Eve Tyler Hero buzzer beater was Goosey's galore. Tyler Hero has been an absolute demon when it comes to these late moments, these game-winning moments. You know, you almost had one from Jimmy in that Lakers game, but, you know, that was a tough one. I mean, a tough heave. You have to heave it down to the court, and he got a good look at it. But Tyler Hero getting that buzzer beater against Utah was huge, especially because you're about to be screwed out of that game. You know, the margin's so slim in all of these Heat games. And Tyler Hero coming through to that was an absolute monster. But game after game after game, and especially last night, Victor Oladipo, he was incredible, doing it all, the confidence. We talked a little bit about this after the Clippers game. The burst that you're seeing with him is refreshing. It's like you're seeing a guy who looks like he is getting all of his superpowers back. Yesterday, I mean, he had so many moments between the half-court heave at the end of the first to, by the way, I don't know if the shooting is going to hold up for him because he's red hot right now, but it's good to see him shoot it with confidence. He is certainly not being shy about it. And that is, you know, if that's something that they can count on, again, it's probably not going to be to the tune of what it is right now, which is like 45% from three over his last handful of games on this road trip. But it's definitely encouraging. But the thing that I love that he always brings is just that rim pressure, just getting to the basket. It's so hard to contain him when he comes with that confidence. He's so good at drawing fouls and drawing contact. He just has that natural vibe to him. You know, Tom Crean giving him a little shout out on Twitter. His former coach at Indiana, of course, was the college coach of Dwayne Wade. And, you know, Tom Crean's dealt with a lot of these attacking guard, you know, Anthony Edwards when he was coach of Georgia. And Tom Crean saying, this is so great seeing him healthy. Stay strong, Vic Oladipo, who he responded to and said, thanks, coach. Love you. Vic was just, I mean, the way he's able to contort his body, go with that contact, absolutely, absolutely huge for them. And to have a winning road trip, I really didn't even feel like they got that A+ game from Jimmy either. You know, Jimmy was steady. He was good. I'm not saying that Jimmy wasn't good on this trip, but certainly dealing with the injuries, having to go through the stress of the doctors checking him out and getting cleared, and him saying, you know, I'm not fully healthy yet. And I don't think that the Heat had to lean on him too much. Certainly in the Lakers game, that was probably the game where he needed to do the most, and wasn't enough at the end of it. But it's not like they had to call upon Jimmy to do all of this heavy lifting, and that's great. I think it's like the idea that they can go to other guys to carry him, and especially in a game like this where you don't have Tyler. Jimmy was good. I mean, it's not like Jimmy was a ghost, but I don't think that they had like a Jim VP level performance on this entire trip. And to come away with it with 3 and 2 is pretty good. You know, Kyle Lowry, I think from the bad side of things, you know, Kyle Lowry's struggling a little bit with his shot. He's going through a little bit of a slumpski right now. I don't know if there's a little bit of burnout from him from the early parts of the year that he's dealing with. That remains to be seen, but certainly is. You saw some signs of it in the Lakers game, but I thought that you know, he's got to have that shot falling for him. If that 3-point shot isn't falling for him, he really does have a tough time of it, because that's where the majority of his shots are coming from right now. You know, and I'm not expecting Kyle to go out there and score you 20, because there's a lot of scoring options on this team right now. You got 3 guys basically averaging 22 points a game. Now you have Victor Oladipo coming on strong. You got Max Strus, who's going to be jacking up a lot of threes. So I'm not expecting Kyle Lowry to go out there and have a ton of games where he's going to give you over 30. But it was a little bit of a struggle trip. I would say like that, you know, between that, the health of Duncan Robinson, those are probably like the only the big lowlights, other than, you know, game wise, the 2 collapses for sure. But that's what really needs to come around for Miami. And they're going into what is going to be a week that I would say is a week that's going to be the biggest test of the season for them, because they are relatively healthy. They are coming into a game on Sunday against a red-hot Brooklyn Nets team that is surging. Kevin Durant has played like an MVP. Kyrie Irving has been every bit of the superstar sidekick that he needs. And all that drama seems like it has subsided in Brooklyn. You know, Ben Simmons hasn't been a head case. So all of the drama from Brooklyn is kind of out of the way. And so now you have to deal with the talent that they bring. So that's going to be a huge test. You got the Bucks coming up twice into your building on Thursday and Saturday afternoon. So, obviously you're taking on Giannis, you're taking on that crew there. That's always going to be a tough test for the Miami Heat. Even though historically they have done well against the Bucks and have done well historically defending Giannis Antetokounmpo. Big tests for Miami. And one of the things that's going to be fun for this, I think, is, talking about the disrespect that Bam's getting and not enough exposure. And one of the things that he doesn't think that they're on TV enough, national TV. They are getting a lot of national TV. This is the most run they're really getting on national TV in a long, long time, because they were on ESPN, these back-to-back games. They're on TNT on Tuesday. They're on ABC on Saturday. They're on TNT on Monday. They're on ESPN against Luka and the Mavericks coming up on Friday the 20th, which will be Tyler Hero's birthday, turning 23 years old. And then coming up on Tuesday the 24th, TNT matchup against the Boston Celtics. So a lot of fun basketball coming up and a lot of games that are going to I think this is really going to be the month of the season that will give us a definitive answer. I'm putting the caveat of hopefully health is there, but I think that this is going to be the part of the season. These next 2.5 weeks will really determine where we really feel like the capabilities of this team is, because they do have a little bit of playing down to their competition, which, I'm happy that they didn't let that guard down too much today, especially after Chris Paul went down. This is all right. These are big-time games, big-time matchups you're talking about against Durant, against Giannis, against Luka, against the Celtics and Jason Tatum. You got a lot of that coming on up and a lot of national TV exposure. So for all that stuff, we don't get the respect, we don't get the exposure, here's your chance. It's all there for Miami. We've been waiting. They finished this road trip 2 over 500. They haven't been that high all season. They got there once, lost to the Lakers. Now they're back. So you're at the best part that you've been all season. 2 games over. You're going into your building. A lot of star matchups. Don't let the opportunity slip by. This is your chance to let everybody know, are the Miami Heat going to be here this season, or are they just going to be treading water the entire time?